Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Mezco 112 Collective Mr. Freeze action figure. Now this has been a long time coming, very similar to the Keaton Batman. I pre-ordered this thing back March 4th of 2020. That is about 3 years and 3 months ago. My word, what a long wait. He is finally here. And the picture I've seen online looks fantastic. The packaging looks great, so let's take a look. It's a canister here, metal tin. The front, Mr. Freeze. It's got very good detail over it. Mezco toys for collectors, by collectors. The backside here, you can see Mr. Freeze in his cryo chamber. Looks excellent. Very, very nice. It's all frosted over. More cryo chamber details. Bottom, some credits. There is his barcode, if that helps anybody. The top simply says Mr. Freeze. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And I did get two of these things, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete, unopened, Batman-related action figure collection. So I did kind of want to show off the unboxing, as it's very unique and cool packaging. So the top, take it off, Mr. Freeze. And then inside of here, you can see the clamshell. Pull it out. Very, very cool. Little paper. Do have some instructions in here. Could be useful. So, here's Mr. Freeze in his clamshell. Looking pretty nice. Here it is opened up, exposing the Mr. Freeze figure and all of his accessories. Alright. Now that I get this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out, and he comes with a ton of awesome stuff. We have a display stand, a baggie for all your accessories, 3 different blast effects for his freeze gun, 6 alternate hands, totaling 8 interchangeable hands, 2 heads, a removable dome, a breathing mask, 2 different freeze rays, and then a tube to connect to his backpack. But before I take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Mr. Freeze, one of Batman's rogues gallery. Personally, I'd probably say he's in the A-lister category at this point because Batman has so many rogues and he's by far in the top 10. His main motivation is restoring his sick wife, Nora Freeze, to health. This guy's been a long time coming, well over a 3-year wait. And so far he does not disappoint, but we'll see as I dig in deep. So let's take a look. Starting with the face here, blue skin, very serious stern expression, bald head, red glasses or goggles. Kind of looks like an older version of Mr. Freeze, which seems about right. He's got that cryo suit, almost looks like a space suit or a scuba diving suit. It's going to keep him at sub-zero temperatures because inside of this, if he gets out, he will die. He's got 2 fisted hands, cloth soft goods suit mixed with plastic armor on top. Looks very nice. You can see sort of padding on his leg, different texturing. Looks like we're going to get double jointed knees, but it's a little bit sort of thick, tough material here. All the material feels similar to that, which makes perfect sense. It would be thick, sort of insulated to keep the cold in. His backpack looks amazing. Look at that, all the different sort of cold charges. So far, so good. Very detailed, intricate Mr. Freeze figure. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. Here's a little Ziploc baggie he comes with. It says 112 Collective. It's a great place to store all of your many accessories. Now for his display stand, it comes in 2 separate pieces. When put together, it's going to look like this. The base is white and blue. It says Mr. Freeze. Then it's got this transparent post. Rotation at the bottom. Hinged. Hinged in the middle. Hinge near the top. Rotation near the top. And it has a clamp to hold your figure in place. Now let's check out his hands. He has a total of 8 of them. 4 right hands and 4 left hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers for his guns. Then his next pair of hands. His right hand is totally open and flat. His left hand is sort of a larger gripping hand with fingertips. And here's his last pair of hands. His right hand is another open hand, very similar to the one before. In his left hand has an index finger pointing. Now for his heads, he has two of them. One with a pretty neutral expression, and one a little more stern of an expression. Here's his first head. They're both serious and stern, but this one has a little bit more of a neutral expression. And here's his other head. This one has a little bit more of a frowning face. Now for his removable dome and breathing mask. Dome, pretty much a glass dome that's going to fit over his head. Then we have this breathing mask here. You can choose to display or not display it. It goes inside of the dome on his face. Here's Freeze without the dome or the mask. Then with the dome attached. That'll be my preferred look for him. Here's Freeze with the mask on, no dome. I guess this is how he's going to be able to breathe with the dome off. And I guess that's wrong. I thought they could have the mask on and the dome at the same time, but they sort of go into the same slot, the same sort of area. So when you have the mask on, it's going to prevent you from putting the dome all the way on. So it's not really an option. And as it turns out, the mask is intended to be on the outside of the dome. I didn't realize that. It looks cool, but personally, I'm going to be displaying him without that mask. Just the dome. Traditional Mr. Freeze look. Now he's got this little holster for his gun. It'll simply attach to his belt. Here it is, clipped onto his belt. Now he has two Freeze guns. Yes, I said guns. A DC figure that actually comes with guns. It's very unusual nowadays. Warner Brothers has a no gun mandate. Any officially licensed DC figure cannot come with a gun in any way, shape, or form. But it looks like maybe they're easing up with some more sci-fi type guns. We have the smaller Freeze pistol here. Detail's fantastic. Sculpt, paint job, it's all there. Then we have the larger Freeze cannon. You can see where he's going to hold it there. There are even batteries for this thing. Can't wait to see what all that's like. Once again, amazing sculpt and paint job. All those different sort of canisters with the Freeze. Looks so good. Here's Mr. Freeze holding his Freeze pistol. And here he is, holstering it onto his belt. Here's Mr. Freeze holding the larger Freeze ray. Looks pretty good. Unfortunately, his suit is so stiff that he's not able to support it with the other hand. Still, this thing looks absolutely fantastic. He's also got this tube with a bendy wire that's going to attach to his Freeze guns and his backpack. Here's how the tube will attach to his Freeze ray and his backpack. There are a few different options where you want to attach it to, both on the gun and on the backpack here. See the different holes there? Looks pretty cool, and it's optional if you don't want to use it. It works with both the large and the small Freeze ray. In addition to that, he has the three blast effects. This one here is going to come out of his Freeze ray and attach to an action figure's chest. This one here would wrap around an action figure's foot or leg. And this one here is a small piece of ice to go around an action figure's face. I think that's very, very cool. Here's Mr. Freeze, utilizing the blast effect with his large Freeze ray. It's really weird the way it connects in. It's almost like it's sort of soft, or it has the white sort of frost pieces. I just went ahead and shoved it in there. Pretty cool effect though. The effect will work with both this large and small Freeze ray, although with the small one, you gotta sort of prop it on the figure and use it that way. And then here's Batman with all three of the Freeze effects on him. In addition to all those accessories, he comes with 9 batteries. They're type LR626. 3 of them are going to go to his cannon, and 4 are going to go into his backpack. Instructions were very handy, sort of showing me where all the different hidden compartments are. Let's go ahead and attach them and check out the action features. Here's Mr. Freeze holding his Freeze gun with the light off. There's a little piece here. Press in on it. Bam. The light is now on. Here's Mr. Freeze with a light on in a fully lit room. Then, in a completely dark room. Here he is with a light on in a semi-lit room. In addition to his gun, he also put batteries into his backpack. There's a compartment. You take off the back there, pressing the button at the top, and his backpack lights up. Here it is, lit up in a completely dark room. Then, in a semi-lit room, both his backpack and his Freeze ray both lit up. Nice action features for this figure. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, not straight at his height, from bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 6.7 inches tall, which can translate to about 17 centimeters, and if you go to the top of his dome, about 6.8 inches tall. Now for his articulation. It's kind of limited because his cloth soft goods suit is so stiff. Starting with his head, rotate side to side, up and down, up not much, down a little bit, can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, ball joint, seems to go about 90 degrees, but it kind of pushes it back down. Up and down. Now, as far as forward and back goes, like I said, very limited. Shoulders only going to forward about that far. Elbows seem to be double jointed. They can go in all the way, but it kind of pushes it back. So that's probably about what you'll get there, which is really not bad. Wrists can rotate, and they are hinged as well. His torso, he's got a ball joint in his waist for sure. Rotate around, forward and back. I believe he has another one in his torso, but you're not really going to get too much out of that. Legs, they only go out about this far. Very obstructed by the pants. Go forward, about that much, not very much. Back, not much at all. Rotation at the thigh. Double jointed knees, they go back all the way, but the suits only allow him to go back about that far. The boot cut, his ankles, forward and back. Tilt rock maybe just the tiniest bit. They do have rotation. It looks good, but the function is a little bit limited. Here's Mr. Freeze in front of his Arctic base. The only companions he has in this lair are his wife and some polar bears. A closer look at Mr. Freeze. He's chosen a life of solitude. Well, not entirely by choice. Here's a closer look at Mr. Freeze. He's standing next to his wife. He still has hope to save her, although with each and every passing day it seems less and less likely. Of course, Mr. Freeze is always trying to cure his wife. He's holding the city for ransom. He needs a ton of money to fund his research. And of course, Batman was not going to let that happen. Batman is approaching Mr. Freeze's base, planning to take him down. As soon as Batman enters Mr. Freeze's base, he comes across a couple of Freeze thugs. He takes them out with a signature move, bashing their heads against each other. Batman makes it through to Mr. Freeze, pulls out a batarang, and threatens Freeze in the act. And Mr. Freeze encases Batman in ice. Batman was not quite prepared for Freeze's quick reactions, but it's what he does. A closer look at Freeze, freezing Batman, encasing him in ice. After Freeze encases Batman in ice, he decides to keep him as a permanent fixture in his base. As far as he's concerned, the frozen Batman will always be there moving forward. But Batman himself is resourceful. He has other plans. He's able to sneak this heat gun out of his glove, up his sleeve. He's prepared for anything Freeze had to throw at him. Batman quickly escapes, but doesn't go far. He calls Alfred and asks him to deploy his XC suit. Alfred sends the Batwing and deploys Batman's XC suit. He's going to be ready for Mr. Freeze this time. Batman quickly suits up and decides to go right back in. Here's Batman facing off with Mr. Freeze. He's prepared this time. He has his XC suit. To be continued in Detective Comics number 1076. Now let's check him out. Next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other Mr. Freeze figures. Here he is, next to all my different Mattel Mr. Freeze figures. And this one may still be my favorite Mr. Freeze. He's a classic comic Mr. Freeze figure, although the McFarlane one probably replaced him. And here he is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Mr. Freeze figures. Then, next to the McFarlane Mr. Freeze figures. And there's another one of those that I should get in the next couple days. And now, next to a DST or Diamond Select Toys Mr. Freeze. Here's my entire collection of Mr. Freeze figures. I have almost all of them in the 6 and 7 inch scale, except I believe there's a version of him that was a San Diego Comic Con exclusive with enhanced articulation. Here's his Freeze, next to several different Kenner, Batman and Robin Frostbite figures. Frostbite was actually a Mr. Freeze henchman in the film Batman and Robin. Now let's check him out, next to a couple of Anti-Freeze Batman figures. Here he is, next to a Mattel Arctic Shield Batman. And here he is, next to a Fun Super, third-party, unauthorized, unlicensed XC suit Batman from Arkham Origins. Then, next to a DC Direct, Batman the Animated Series, Anti-Fire Suit Batman, but he could double up as a free suit Batman pretty easily. Now let's check them out. Next to some other Mezco figures. Here are all the different Batman rogues they've made in Mezco form so far. KGBeast, Catwoman, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, Joker, Black Mask, Deathstroke, and the Mutant Leader. I would love to see Mezco tackle the Riddler, Penguin, or Scarecrow. They would be awesome in the cloth soft goods format. And here he is, next to a bunch of different Mezco Batman figures. From the Dark Knight Returns, 1989 Batman, the Ben Affleck Batman, part of Mezco's trilogy of Batman figures. This is Supreme Knight Batman, and then the Golden Age Batman. And here, next to several more Mezco figures that are neither Batman nor Batman rogues. Now let's check him out. Next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a Mezco figure, they're typically the 6-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of these smaller action figure lines I collect, and work my larger. Here he is, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. Here's Mr. Freeze, next to a pint of ice cream. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here's Mr. Freeze, next to some Mayfix figures. Then, next to some Mattel, DC Universe Classics, and Multiverse figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, with some McFarlane toys. Now, with some DST or Diamond Select toys. And finally, next to some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. So overall, this is a very cool Mr. Freeze figure. His accessories are absolutely amazing. Action features, the light up. It's good, but could be a little brighter. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. No issues there. His articulation, well, it's really good in the base body, but the soft goods really hinders it. Soft goods are very stiff. My biggest problem is just shoulders. You just cannot get the arms into a good pose to hold the gun, and you can't get his second hand to support it. It's really big, really heavy, and should be held by two hands. That being said, it's still an amazing figure. If I were to rate him, I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. 39-month wait. The articulation thing does bother me. It's very limiting. And it's kind of frustrating to get his hand to hold the gun, and you can't get the other hand to support it. Very, very, very long wait. And it did not disappoint. I was a little bit more disappointed with the Keaton Batman, as it had some serious flaws. Mr. Freeze, he does have some flaws, but I'd say they're a little more forgiving than the Keaton Batman, which is growing on me, but his flaws still stand. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.